In this video, I'm going to show you how to take a B2 essay and up-level it to a C1 level and beyond. Let's begin. Let's start by reading the original essay. Why poor teenagers are dropping out. Dropping out is a phrasal verb and it means when you finish school or university early. You drop out. You don't get to the end and receive your certificate or your qualification. Studies have shown that many teenagers from poor families drop out compared of teenagers from rich families. Why is this? Firstly, many poor teenagers drop out because of family problems. For example, they have parents with alcohol problems or violent behaviours. Due to this, these teenagers leave their house to find a job and seek independence. Secondly, it is clear that teenagers from poor families suffer from financial difficulties, and so they quit school to find jobs and get money. This could be to help their family pay bills or even to leave home and start a new life. Thirdly, without a doubt, many poor teenagers do not know people who are poor, but who have found successful careers to act as their inspiration. Instead, they think they should leave school with 16 years and start to work, but this might not be the best path for them. In conclusion, there are many reasons poor teenagers quit school, but we should work together to solve this problem and improve their lives. Now I'm going to rewrite and edit this essay. So let's take a look at the title. Why poor teenagers are dropping out. Now, if you notice, this is not a question, this is a statement. We're giving the reasons why. If it were a question, it would be, why are poor teenagers dropping out? So if we have why disadvantaged teenagers drop out. We don't need to use the present continuous here. We can use the simple present, and the adjective disadvantaged is a synonym of poor, and this adjective disadvantaged, you will often find it used by the government or used by the education sector to describe people who are poor. Why disadvantaged teenagers drop out. So we have here, studies show that many teenagers from poor families. So I'm going to put in recent years. It's always good to start with a fronted adverbial which tells us when or where. In recent years, let's keep studies. And then if we use the present perfect, have shown, it just sounds better. I'm sure there is a rule why it sounds better to me as a native speaker, but in this context, the present perfect sounds better. In recent years, studies have shown. In fact, let's change shown to demonstrated. In recent years, studies have demonstrated that teenagers, now again, I'm not going to say poor, I'm going to say teenagers from less affluent. Affluent means rich. So teenagers from less affluent families. And then it talks about dropout compared to teenagers from rich families. So teenagers from less affluent families are more likely to drop out of high school. Now let's take a look at this. I've said here, drop out of. The title, drop out. So what's the difference? Drop out is intransitive. It does not need an object. He dropped out last year. Last year he dropped out. It means that he left school early. However, to drop out of is a transitive phrasal verb. So when we add this of, we can say what the person dropped out of. To drop out of high school, to drop out of university. It says here, compared to teenagers from rich families. Now, I haven't talked about comparing the teenagers, so I'm going to do something here which is very high level, and I'm going to add a comma after that, and I'm going to insert an adverbial in comparison to their better off peers. So let's take a look at this. In recent years, comma, studies have demonstrated that in comparison to their better off peers, teenagers from less affluent families are more likely to drop out of high school. So better off means richer, and peer. Your peer is someone from your generation. A teenager is not my peer. because I'm in my 40s. It's somebody from your generation. Look up that word if you feel like you need it to be explained in more detail. And then instead of why is this, I'm going to add in this sentence. Let us examine the factors behind this phenomenon. Or let's add in an adjective, this troubling phenomenon. Now, I will be editing this at the end, so if you spotted a mistake, don't worry, we'll pick it up when we edit this at the end. So I'm going to keep firstly, many poor teenagers drop out because of family problems. So if we say many disadvantaged. Now, did we use disadvantaged? We used disadvantage in our title, but we did not use it in our first paragraph. So I feel that I can use it again, that I'm not using it too much. Many disadvantaged, and instead of teenagers, I'll use teens, another synonym, to make my writing more interesting. And then I don't want to use drop out so quickly again, because I've just used it. So I'm going to say fail to finish high school. To fail to finish high school means to drop out. And then because of family problems, if we put due to issues within the family home. An issue is a problem. I think the word issue is slightly higher level than problem, more formal. And then it says here, they have parents with alcohol problems or violent behaviour. In the original essay, they had actually used violence behaviour. I don't know whether you noticed that, which was a mistake. Violence is a noun and it should be violent behaviour. It was also behaviours, and it should actually be behaviour. Due to issues within the family home. And then I'm going to say, such as alcoholism and domestic violence. Domestic violence is any violence which happens within a family in a home. And also, instead of alcoholism, you could also say alcohol abuse, which is the same thing. And then due to this, these teenagers leave their house to find a job and seek independence. I really like the verb seek, which means to search for. Actually really good use of the verb seek. So I'm going to put in response, and then rather than say teenagers, I'm going to say these young people. So we've had teenagers, we've had teens, now we're using young people. These young people often opt to. To opt to means to choose to, a really high level verb. Leave home, find a job and obtain independence. And actually, let's change find, let's put seek a job. So this next paragraph, secondly, it is clear that teenagers from poor families suffer from financial difficulties. So if we keep secondly, and then I'm going to use an expression that is an idiomatic expression that you can look up. It goes without saying that. This means it's obvious. Secondly, it goes without saying that teens from, now we've already said less affluent, so let's say less wealthy. And we've already said families, let's say backgrounds. Backgrounds is a fantastic word. Now, usually we talk about the background of a photograph, for example. So on screen, you can see a picture, you can see some people on a beach, and in the background is the sea. However, when we talk about a person's background, it means their family. Are they from a wealthy background? Are they from a disadvantaged background? Are they from a privileged background? So, secondly, it goes without saying that teens from less wealthy backgrounds suffer from financial difficulties. Great use of the verb suffer. Let's say experience financial difficulties. And then it says, and so they quit school to find jobs and get money. Let's put consequently. They leave education, and then how about we put in search of paid work. Paid work means a job. Consequently, they leave education in search of paid work. I'm going to add in this, consequently and unsurprisingly. So that there, adding in and unsurprisingly with commas, takes that sentence to a higher level. And then it says here, this could be to help their family pay bills or even to leave home and start a new life. Let's say in many instances. This means in many examples, in many cases. This may be Have you noticed that may and be in this sentence are separate? May be is different from may be. To support their family, I think it would be families because we're talking about plural here, but we'll check that in our edit at the end. Their families with paying bills, and it says here to start a new life, or let's say have their own money. And we'll maybe be able to edit have their own money at the end because have is a very overused verb. Thirdly, without a doubt, many poor teenagers do not know people who are poor but who have found successful careers to act as their inspiration. So there is a fantastic word. When you have somebody that you look to as an example, we call that a role model. And this is a fantastic word or two words to know, a fantastic expression to know. Thirdly, many disadvantaged. I'm not sure if I want to keep without a doubt, so I'll decide in a moment. Thirdly, many disadvantaged teenagers lack role models. The verb lack. If you lack something, you do not have it. Thirdly, many disadvantaged teenagers lack role models. And then I want to use this expression, that is. So I'm going to explain what a role model is. Lack role models, that is, inspirational people from similar backgrounds who have gone on, and then I want to say to have successful careers, and I'm going to use a fantastic verb, to forge successful careers. Usually the verb forge is when you create something out of metal, but it can be used in an advanced way to make something, for example, a career. Have gone on, I've put to have gone one, to forge successful careers. And then it says here, instead they think they should leave school with 16 years. That's a grammatical mistake. I'm going to say at 16 years old. We don't say with 16 years in English. Instead, they think they should leave school at 16 years old and start to work, but this might not be the best path for them. That's actually quite good. I'm going to just change instead to rather so that you can see another way of saying this. They believe dropping out is the only path available to them. And then we'll have a subordinate clause. When, in many cases, this may not be the best option. Let's take a look at our summary paragraph, our concluding paragraph. In conclusion, and then it says, there are many reasons poor teenagers quit school, but we should work together to solve this problem and improve their lives. Let's see if we can up-level this. The reasons teenagers from, well, we can use the word poor now, we've not used it all through the essay. Poor backgrounds, leave education means to drop out, are varied. The reasons are varied. If something is varied, there are lots of different. However, it is in everyone's best interests, or would it be best interest? However, it is in everyone's best interest if we work together and improve outcomes for all. Dash, not just the wealthy. If something is in a person's best interest, it means it's a good thing for them. So to be in one's best interest. Now let's take a look at the final example and see if we can make any small edits to improve it even further. This essay is going to be in a PDF ebook along with all my other advanced essays, so watch out for the link in the description of my videos, which is coming soon. Why disadvantaged teenagers drop out? In recent years, studies have demonstrated that, in comparison to their better off peers, teenagers from less affluent families are more likely to drop out of high school. Let us examine the factors behind this troubling phenomenon. Great opening paragraph. Firstly, many disadvantaged teens fail to finish high school due to issues within the family home, such as alcoholism and domestic violence. In response, These young people often opt to leave home, seek a job, and obtain independence. Great. Secondly, it goes without saying that teens from less wealthy backgrounds experience financial difficulties. Consequently, and unsurprisingly, they leave education in search of paid work. In many instances, this may be to support their families with paying bills or have money of their own. The verb have, if you ever use the verb have or the verb go, these are basic overused verbs and they are a clue that there might be a much better synonym. And quite simply here, I'm going to change it to earn. To earn money of their own, or to earn their own money. Simpler and better. Thirdly, many disadvantaged teenagers lack role models. That is, inspirational people from similar backgrounds who have gone on to forge successful careers. Rather, they believe dropping out is the only path available to them, when in many cases this may not be the best option. In conclusion, the reasons teenagers from poor backgrounds leave education are varied. However, it is in everyone's best interest if we work together to find a solution and improve outcomes for all, not just the wealthy. I'm going to make a couple of changes here. However, it is in everyone's best interest that we work together to find a solution and improve outcomes for all. Also, are varied is fine, but I'd like to show you there is the verb vary, which means that there are many different ways. So the reasons vary, it means there are several different reasons. I really hope you found this video useful. If you did, please give it a like, and I really love to read your comments. It's fantastic for me as a teacher to read comments from people all over the world, so please keep them coming. Finally, if you know somebody who you think would enjoy this video and also find it useful, why not share it with them? That would really help my channel to grow and I would appreciate it very much. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.